listening to it from the balcony, I could still hear like all the sections, which isn't something I was hearing. It seems often like you might have a lot of saxophones or trumpets, but I can get the trombones, which is really nice. You guys have a nice sound. Yeah. I would, on that beginning, I think, we always want to make sure that we are, that you're listening to the other sections, right? The number one thing is listening, right? So we're listening to the band, they're listening to the rhythm section, but you guys are also have a responsibility to have to listen to each other, right? So you have that kind of those, it sounds like about two different lines going, or three different lines playing off each other when we get into this section.
Mm-hmm.
Could we hear just the saxophones at, yeah, that'd be great.
One, two, set.
Alright, it's tight, okay? You guys have good sound, you've practiced it, now it's time to relax. A little bit, right? I noticed that you're all tapping kind of like, and there's a certain sense of like intensity, and that's good, but you also want to have a sense of relaxation. So I think Hugh Ellington said, he was teaching people how to swing, and he was just like, you're on 2 and 4, right? You're falling into those beats, right? Gotta feel that quarter note, because that's where the swing's gonna be, if you're getting that quarter note and everything. And then the accents are just the thing that make it propel it forward, right? Drums, you did a just gotta work on that a little more, I think. But that was really great spirit, and I think that what you're trying to do is keep it a little bit loose, right? And I think that's the spirit. We also gotta have that, just make sure that it's actually setting up the horns to come in right at the beginning. Can we hear trombones at 10?
They don't have any.
Okay, any questions?
I'm gonna start maybe at 18.
That would be great, yeah.
Yeah, let's do 18 brass.
Mhm.
Just for getting time. 1, 2, all brass, 18, set, and go.
Alright, you all ever, that sounded really nice, the tone's good. Do the section leaders ever get together? Do y'all ever get together, just you all?
They're all
Talk?
friends.
Okay, I mean,
They're all
and
friends.
play music,
Yeah.
I should say, and play some music together?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's
Wrong-
good.
Wrong credits.
I was,
yeah.
I was just thinking that could be helpful. You can get together, order pizza, and be like, all right, let's work on this section, And you can work on things and play. There's just some variations in that I think we can tighten up in terms of the articulation, the attack right at the beginning. Ba, ba, boom, ba, ba, right? So can we try that again? 18.
And listen back.
Go. Alright, great. Trombones, you can go. You can move those long tones. And that's the same with every section. Of course, you don't want to just kind of stay on any tones. But on that section, you're kind of backing up, you're kind of basically filling in the bottom of the trumpets in a way. So you want to make sure that you're matching articulation of the lead trumpet, number one. Number two, you want to make sure that you're doing something with the lines, so people know who you are, right? It's important, it's your story right now. And everybody in this, in the band is actually kind of creating an environment. You're decorating time right now, right? So you have this space that our listeners get to be in, which is pretty cool. And so you want it to be exciting, right? You want to have that sense of urgency. You want, in fact, I heard some of the soloists, beautiful. You gotta come into it like you're just popping in, like you're excited. I play alto saxophone. I didn't bring it, this is my first time doing this game, but, yeah, you just always, but that's the same with the sections too. Players, you wanna make sure that you're always enthusiastic and excited to hit that note, that first note, okay? And you also have to talk to your section. Do you all ever talk?
I do.
About the music.
About the music, okay.
About the music.
No, I tell them.
Well, what I'm saying is, you all should talk even more, because if you're not playing the music and you want it to be better, you have to use words, right? And are you the lead alto, or are you the lead? Okay, so you'll be told you what you need, you know, and making some decisions, which is important. And also listening to the rest of your sections, because they might have some really great ideas about how to attack stuff. And that's how you make it more collaborative. I'm sure you will probably have sectional, do a sectionals.
Not really, but I mean, we break it down in rehearsal. We do get a chance to meet every day. And so, yeah, so 50 minutes every day.
It does sound like you all play every day.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I taught high school and we only did it twice a week after school, and it just, I mean, yeah, it's not enough. And so it's in the school day,
Yeah,
and so that makes a big difference.
well, that's great. And I guess I was also wondering, like, why you didn't use the piano?
Because we have the keyboard thing that we like to adjust for that. She's playing Cubase, and it just kind of made sense for them to kind of stay on the same one.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, the
about
one
that.
we have is not the best, and so we just put it on the keyboard.
And you have to mic it and everything, I know, but
Yeah,
I was also
right.
thinking that, you know, a good thing to think about is to practice, quietly on this music. This is swing song, and I think you all did a kind of Latin song too as well. So, I mean, you don't have to play it like, everything doesn't have to be loud, right? And I think that you all, I could feel that you all really did pay attention, you have practiced a lot of dynamics, especially in the Latin piece, which maybe we can go to.
Sure. All right, I'll be first. If we get that far.
Yeah,
How long have you guys been playing?
Seventh graders, raise your hand. Seventh graders, raise your hand. You're not seventh grade. Eighth graders, raise your hand.
All right.
So we start in sixth grade.
You started in sixth grade, okay? How many people started before sixth grade? Really? Man, you got some great instruction right here. So I'm gonna say, that's really, I'm really impressed. I mean, I've got to hear some bands and it's really, really good. I mean, you all don't know. But, well, I guess you can hear some bands scared.
Yeah.
But,
And then within
besides
we
that,
don't have our own, so.
Yeah, but you're working hard.
We don't have to come across the line.
Here we go.
Set, and one, and two, and from the top, set, and go.
Really cool drums, love it. Yeah, I mean, you're really just driving it the whole time, and that sounds great. Thank you. I think that, you know, when you have these, you all did a little dynamic thing right in that first section where you had, what was the phrase?
Maybe there.
Yeah, do that, basically. And you all did this dynamic thing. You can do that all over the place, really. It doesn't just have to be there, and that sounded so great. But of course, you don't want to do over dynamic. So it was really great when you came into the song, you all just did a certain volume, and you're just playing the song, which is great. When you have like when you have kind of a solo section, like trombones have that thing where you kind of play a little bit around, and you're kind of by yourself, and no one else is doing that. I'd milk it.
29.
Yeah, I'd milk it a little bit more. You know, can we hear that?
Yeah.
29.
29. Let's hear just trombone.
Yeah.
One, and one, and two.
it's hard to keep in tune, you know? But it's okay, you know, remember, you're rehearsing most of the time, and then you do these performances. It's okay to try some stuff in rehearsal, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
so, wow, wow. I mean, does he grab into that? I mean, and I haven't heard the recording of this, but you're also allowed to hear the recording and make some other choices, right? That's one of the things that you're all doing
Kinda like you
basically.
did on your solo.
Yeah, you're all doing like a really trombone, you know, stylistic thing right there. I mean, all the other horns cannot really do it the same way. So milk it, everything you got. And then I think saxophones came in with a little line, you know, make sure you go, I mean, that, you're gonna milk all those great phrases that are only yours, right? Because that is the detail in storytelling. You know, this is a story we get to hear, not only an environment we get to live in, we're trying to tell a story. And you're also trying to pay respects to our brothers and sisters that come before us and play this music and created this music, and that we're putting our hearts and souls into it, right? And we're finding that balance between spirit and scholarship, right? And I think a lot of spirit here, so this is great. All right, and can we hear that section with saxophones?
Right at 29. 1 and 2, keep going. 1 and 2, 29, and go.
Hear it with drums? And you won't?
You just want everybody.
Actually just saxophones and trombones and drums.
Okay, 29, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and set, and go. 29, 1 and 2, and 29, and set, and go.
I'm wondering if there's a different thing we can do on the drums there. Because I'm not sure if that rhythm is lining up with the
You see where I'm at
trombones.
on 29?
Yeah. Maybe it's like a dotted, they're playing like a dotted quarter note, I think?
Correct.
And maybe you just play with them. And,
Oh, rather than making it so complicated.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Maybe you could have a, you know, eighth notes on the cymbal or something like that, but I'm just saying like, I think it might be,
For 2 bars,
Let's
just
try
try to match their same bar. Kind of hit, and then maybe like 31, go back into your 8th notes. Let's try that. Ready? 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and ready, go.
yeah, I think it's something like that.
Even without the 8th
Yeah.
notes, the first 2
Yeah.
bars. Can we do that one more time? Without the 8th notes, just hit, about hit, then back into 8th notes at 32. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, or 31, 31. 1, 2, 29, 1 and 2, and set, and go.
I feel like that's, I mean, it's still simpler, but I think it works a little better.
Makes it pop more.
Right, you want those, you want trombones to come out because they got that cool thing. But also you want to feel like that you get to be with them when they're doing it. It's kind of, I mean, it's dance music, right? So you don't want to lose the dancers. There's no dancers here, right? Anyone? Anyone with dancers? All right. Can we hear that with trumpets? And the whole thing.
29, let's just keep going this time. Ready? 1 and 2, 29 and 2, everybody.
I don't want to ruin your solo. Remember, we're not just saxophone players. What else are we? We're drummers. So when you're playing this music, remember that every articulation you make, you're a drummer as well. you have to make sure that you're, lining all those up and you're articulating the same. And I think that's what I was thinking when I was saying section leader sometimes, you know, you might get together and say, how are you articulating this, right, in the trumpet? As opposed to how I'm articulating, because sometimes there's like a breath attack I'm hearing, sometimes there's an attack of the tongue. And, as well as the beginning of the note, it's good to think about where you're ending the note, because that's how you create the groove, right? If everybody's just going dot, dot, you might not know where the quarter note is, right? Because you're not giving it its value all the time. You have to think about, as much as you think about the beginning of a note, think that much about the end of the note. As much as you're thinking about the beginning of a phrase, think that much about the end of the phrase. Because you don't want, if you have something you wanna say, if you're a soloist, if you're in, in your section, you always wanna come in strong, that sense of urgency. But you wanna keep that to that last phrase, just like if you're telling your, best friend about the coolest thing that ever happened, you're not gonna fade out at the end of it. It usually gets more exciting, right? If you're excited about it. So,
Cross the finish line.
yeah. So you wanna give it your all, for sure. These are, a lot of the articulations, a lot of the rhythms you're playing is old as they feel to you, cause you're young and you're like, oh, this music seems a little older. All of this was invented probably in the last couple hundred years. That's it, And there's an incredible story that goes along with that, for our country. That it's important to think about why there was new, articulations invented, why there was new rhythms invented, why we, even still play this music, really, because it was present and it relates to the history of our country. So it's wonderful to hear, and Latin music, of course, is in the Western Hemisphere, so I always think about, the whole movement of old music coming up, so. Any questions? Am I saying anything that's too crazy? I've actually worked with a middle school band before, so I don't always know. Any questions or thoughts? Okay, let's hear a little more of this.
You have 5 minutes.
Got 5 minutes?